Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Farm. Thinking right out here in the lab. And I'm back in the book. Oh, I got a nice little lesson coming up for you. So let's go. I'm excited. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message to my stories for life. I give you life lessons, sometimes from the book. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment. This is the practice session right here. This is going to be good. All right? Right thinking way of life through mental, spiritual discipline, practice daily, okay, a.k.a. know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through, because that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my eye, be true. Right thinkers, we get the lesson on how to worship, control, and appease who? Your divinities that's within you. Ooh, this is going to be a good lesson. We're climbing the tree of life. We're just getting through the first spear. I'll just broke it down to you, the spears. We're going through it right now, and this is the perfect example of the lesson for that. Let's rock. So you must know how to what? Control, worship, and to appease. Set. Oh, I got to appease. Wait a minute. Pay attention. Again, listen and get the full understanding before you react. So you must learn to worship, control, and to appease. Set your ego. The same you have to do with Nephat, which is your mortality, which is your death concept, and the other divinities. Now, the divinity that transcends what we call time and space is not to be worshipped with time and space objects. Again, we just gave that lesson. But that is to say, you don't go burning incense to the supreme, transcendental, timeless, formless being we know as God. That ain't how you worship him. That was for shoe, air, fragrance, remember? And when I hear these names, they are part of me in my aspect of my person. So they mean something to me. Every one of them, I got the understanding, the mastery of them. So that's how you have to know them and use them to your benefit. What's this? Not worldly objects. That is to say, you don't go burning incense to Supreme Being. Why? You are to worship that divinity with what? You ready? With things that are timeless, formless, undifferentiated, and transcendental. Well, what the hell is all that? What are those things? Number one, I've been trying to tell you for longer. Telepathy. Well, what about it? Meditation. Dealing with them up here on the mental level. Okay? Meditation. That's it. No chanting, no praying, nothing doing time and space. Because why? It's vibration, it is sound, and it is concepts, words. Remember, for this level of worship, the highest, we are going to beyond the realm of generated things that come into the world that leave. We're going to deal with the timeless, the eternal. But until you are really ready for that level, now you must daily practice the rituals and the offerings to the lower and the lesser gods during time. They will what? Lead you to what? Higher forms of worship and closer to the transcendental forms. which is your higher self. They's the first two. You got to conquer your ego and your mortality. That's that and that. That's what they represent. Let go. What's this? Let me give you an example right quick. This is good. Of what the higher practice, aka meditation. I'm a 10-year practicing yogi. So meditation is on my daily program. And meditation at the highest level, that's the transcendental worship level. That's what I do daily. Commune with my higher self, aka God, on that level, telepathy, okay? Not through some, I dreamt this, no, that nonsense. I'm a lucid dreamer. I'm comfortable in that area. But the meditative state of mind is where I dwell to talk to God personally. And I imply, at this level, it implies what is leading yourself to this place that transcends what we know as consciousness, or what time and space is all up here. It ain't physical. It's the next level. And only through meditation, in that sense, is the answer. Bam. How do you worship God? Y'all think it's in prayer. No, it's through meditation. That's why you see the monks all day long. They're giving God his due. Through what? Meditation. Okay, communicating here. Okay, out of body, whatever, but they don't need the body to go to God. That's what I'm saying. God ain't physical. They tell you that right here. I don't make this stuff up. I know what I'm talking about. I practice. I know. I understand. I just try to give it to you, hoping you'll understand it, without giving me a whole bunch of nonsense. But watch this. Until you reach that level, you would just have to practice on the other levels to get you closer. But let me give you an example. Again, meditation is the way to deal or worship your higher self. And you have to what? Place that transcendental consciousness out of, and meditation is that sense of the answer. And sense is the answer. The Kemetic, you hear Kemetic. That means before the white man came in, the Greeks, and changed it to Egyptian, okay? When you hear Egypt, that's the later form. The first form is Kemetic. The Kemetic sage, Abamon, he said that the supreme divinity is to be worshipped with silence. AKA, like my man Sadi Guru said, with nothingness. Or the other guy who teach meditation. Everybody says the same thing, but they put it in different words. It's all saying the same thing, which for a lot of less competent, intellectual, or knowledgeable people, which is very hard to do. Why? Because if you have not appeased the other divinities, the divinities of the realm of generation, they are coursing through your entire personality. Watch this. And mind as we speak. Why? Because it will be hard to offer your higher practice, higher self. There must come to a what? A peace, aka Hotep. And they do that how? By your learning about them, you're mastering what? Their principles, identifying with them and mastering the principles how? By thereby purifying them where? Within yourself. That's your truth. You can prove what they tell you, what you read, what they left by manifesting it for yourself. That's truth. This is how you purify your lower nature. Okay, you raise your consciousness to become a better person. Okay, live for this, not for that. And once you realize that if you yourself master these divinities, you now learn about them, do your due diligence, and you become wise about them, and automatically, watch this, that means if you do something, this is going to happen, cause and effect. Because you do what's right, automatically your lower nature, your consciousness about yourself is now reduced. Watch this. Why? Because if you learn about Aset, which is wisdom, and Asar, which is eternal spirit, those aspects of your consciousness, which are intuition, wisdom from Aset, and your soul, which is eternal from God, Asar. He's your father. So we are the son of God. S-O-N, of Asar, which is God, the first spirit in physical form. That's the concept. That's why. If you understand that, you will find. Let's go. And because Asar is eternal spirit, you cannot die. But he's letting you know automatically, it will enhance what? And it will enhance, and you are automatically now what? Discounting and minimizing, you know who? The ego. Set. You are cutting egoism down where it's no longer in control. At one time it was. If you're ignorant of yourself, that's because your ego is in control. You don't know your higher self. He will stop you from knowing your higher self. That's why he's the first thing you have to conquer in yourself. As well as what? Worldly desires, that's that. Mortality. Okay, who represents what? Egoism and mortality. Egoism, set, mortality, that. You master those two, and now those are the first steps of what? You going to self-mastery. Because if you become wise, now you realize that you should be caring not just for oneself. The ego looks out for numero uno. Okay? As you care for all people, now you realize what? That you are the very essence of all people. We are family spiritually. This teaching and this understanding of what? Selfless service to who? Humanity. I'm here every day doing just that. Is a primary thing for what? My philosophy. That's right thing. Philosophy personified. That's the real philosophy I travel, but I just use me as an example. What the phone? Me as the example instead of the mythological characters that they set forth. Hence, right thinking philosophy, but it's based on the Maya philosophy, which is what? Giving self-service, helping those in less fortunate. That's what I do. I don't care about those who claim to have a do. I want those who don't. I can help them. That's my do. The less fortunate. Let's be clear on the perfect understanding of the definition of egoism, because I'm tired of y'all keep thinking it's some outside force or the devil. It's you. Egoism from the perspective of these teachings is what? Egoism is the idea, again, that you, me, I are an individual. Just all me. Okay, yeah. And that as an individual, now you are not connected to God. That's what the ego is. It edged God out for its selfish purpose. And if you live in that, that's what you are. A lot of people do it, and a lot of women don't even know they have an ego. They think it's the devil, Satan, yeah, whatever that nonsense. I got a picture where they got you and the ego on the side. If the ego is in front, you should, but devil, get behind me. Ego, get behind me. Why? That's where you serve me good. You watch my six, you watch my butt. Cover my butt, not lead me nowhere. That's the concept. Watch this. You are not connected to others, even nature, aka God, to nature or to your higher spirit. Again, God. Why? Egoism means seeing, believing, and thinking the world from what perspective of what? Finite, mortal, human. Okay? Humans die. Ignorant people die. That's why I tell you, all ignorant people will die with their body physically. Why? Because they didn't wake the consciousness up, so that's going to get dead too. Your pleasure from the ego person is first and foremost. Woo-wee. Importance and the welfare of others was secondary. To his credit, he's a good provider, but he took care. And I don't give a damn how good you provide. I don't give a damn how good you do nothing. That don't give you the reason to be a certain way. That's what I'm saying. I don't excuse or condone that from nobody, not even my father. But my mother forgave him, so who am I to complain? Moving on. Okay, see, I use what I philosophize. Why? That's the purpose of having it and using it. Why having it, don't use it? Just, I'm going to tell you, but I don't use it. That don't make no sense. Yeah, I use it. So you need to what? Not care for them or about them. Why? That's what the ego tell you. Or if the idea that you are related to them, family ties or something else, yeah. But it's got to be a reason to get something from them. User? Oh, the only way he gonna choose you is the some way that he can use you. Who that sound like? Not God. No, not, I know the other guy. Yeah, I know him. Okay, again, It is what it is. So now the study and your understanding of these opposites of the tree of life are represent the antidote to what? The problem of human egoistic complexes. The ego have to be conquered. The ego have to be put in a servitude position. The ego should not be in the lead position, okay? It's your emotions, anger, greed, lust, anything of your lower nature, that's all ego. Anything that's desirable of the flesh, that's all nephet. That's all of the world, more material stuff. Get past that in order to get better. Those are the first things you need to conquer. That's where we at the first level to do that. Let's go. I'm almost done. Now, which come into being due to what? Your concept of separation of the principles and your misunderstanding by your mind. That's all ego ran. Human complexes are represented how? By 3 lower divinities. You ready? And I include Haru. Haru the child right here. It means Haru Picard because he is what? Nurtured by Aset and Asar. But before he learns his life lesson, he is in his state of what? Unenlightened human being. So he's controlled by his ego. And he did some bad stuff. Again, let the ego get the best of him. Pay the price for that too, okay? But at that point, you are not Haru No, you got to earn that. No, you Haru Picard, the baby, learning. And then you got to become Haru, the warrior, Haru Badet, to prove you can defeat your evil ego uncle within yourself. And then you reach Haru greatness. That's the concept. And you become the king. Why? Because you are only a prince. You're heir to the throne by nature, by birth, spirit. But you must first prove yourself before you can take the throne of what? Throne. And this is a problem for most of us. Why? Because you are you. If you are not an enlightened being, if you don't get enlightened, you don't learn the lessons from Aset, you don't understand who your father is, now you are the totality of all the other divinities. Don't know it yet, but you have to prove it. But in an ignorant state of mind that you are in before you do that, that must be cultivated and what? Trained. There you go, right there. Take and guide it, train to what? Now discover, and you for yourself must realize your deeper aspects of yourself. Until that training occurs, you consider Haru, you're vulnerable. And so you are to be what? So you are to the shots to be what? By the ego. The ego going to try to what? Tempting you with fear, lethargy, procrastination, as well as the traditional, what we call fetters, putting you in position that you had to pay the consequences, okay, for your actions. Anger, you strike out. Jealousy, you go against people. Envy, you don't like somebody for what they got. All those are negative qualities, okay? And when you act on them, there's a consequence that comes to pay for that, all right? And watch this, the fetters of the soul. Lust, jealousy, envy, greed, hatred, all larcenous concepts that you want to get in, etc. And that's the ego mindset. And really, net that and set. I just try to break it down to you. That's what we're trying to conquer. Mortality and egoism. That is the notion of mortality and ego. Individuality. A person who lives on that level, you are the real problem. Okay? You are your own problem. And if you are to master, if they are mastered now and transcended, mean you master them and you move on, now you are what? Well on your way to the what? Discovering your high consciousness, aka knowing thyself. That's the mastery of self. That's what you got to do. And as Haru, we just start now. That's you getting past the first level. Let me get you some more. I got a few minutes. All right. So now we are leaving the first spear. Now we are the transcendental realm and its worship, because now we are able to discuss it at the what? The end, and a special silence that encompasses all. For now we are talking about the worship of who? The divinity of time and space, which, as we said in the proper starting point, we perpetuate them by using time and space objects such as food and drink. That's why you see in ancient time, they would bring the stuff to the storehouse, okay? Incense, drink, food, etc. Now, they don't want that. No, the church want now. So what God you serving that wants money? It's bad enough that y'all complain, oh, he can't eat the food. He can't, no. Oh, but he can spend the money? Just putting it out there, just getting the concept. And when the energy of their name is used, that's important. I keep telling you about the name game. And enchant, it what? It invokes the physical presence of the cosmic forces. They know that. They call it voodoo. Oh, don't do that, Satan. They do it now, but in a negative, for negative purposes. It works. You don't care. The spirits, the principles don't care how you use them. The responsibility is on you. But one important item that to keep in mind is you engage in this practice. Watch this. If you engage in this practice, now you, and if you are, you ready? Impure. I'm pure. You put that I am on it. If you are impure, as you are engaging in this invocation, what's going to happen? That energy is going to be tainted. Meaning what? And your use of that energy is going to be therefore. So therefore, all your crooked preachers and pastors, the information they give you is tainted. I'll leave it there. So therefore, it's also tainted when we already talked about the wisdom that the journey begins in earnest. You elevate yourself to Aset, and Aset introduces you to who? Her husband, Asar, eternal soul, spirit, immortality. And then Set and that begin to get what? Less and less. This level of spiritual practice is called striving. Meaning you're moving upward, you're climbing. And that's the idea of climbing Jacob's ladder. They give you concept too, same thing. But you climbing at the backbone, the spine of your backbone, to your spine, to your high level, to the brain connection, the stem. And this is what Haru, the spirit in me and you, represents in his what? Not enlightened state. He's still growing, you're still learning. And aspirate, that's what you right thinkers are until you what? Reach the level. But effective aspirations lead to what? Divine grace. Divine grace is what? The minimization of what? Your negative aspects and the elevation of positive and opening up of your mind to a philosophical wisdom principles featuring teaching that you were not able to understand before. Getting enlightened. You're getting better understanding of oneself. This is a lesson in life. And they saying the more good you do, the less bad you have. I used to have nothing but bad luck. If it wasn't for bad luck, we have no luck. Look how we were living. Now, I'm saying I don't have bad luck. All I got is good luck. Look at the difference. I know that for myself. Okay, again, living proof. And divine, I repeat to me, Brother Wright, you walking in the grace. Whatever, yeah, okay, I get it. But divine grace is just that. It's also increased in what? Your inner peace. Reduction of entanglements. I mean, nonsense. Involve yourself into a bunch of stuff that ain't no good for you. And better physical. I go to the gym every day. Condition, mental, I study, and emotional health. I keep myself in good condition. I don't let stuff worry me. If I don't control it, I don't worry about it. Okay? Those are things that you can do for yourself to what? Better yourself. I ain't coding. No, I just don't. I don't control it. I ain't worried about it. Moving on, I'm doing my thing up in here. I'm about to wrap it up. So now we are going to discuss a feature of the Neteru that is implicated in the Anuium Theurgy Tree of Life, cosmic automythograph. I love that word. It means a spiritual cycle, spiritual journey through life that everybody got to live. You have to make the definitions for yourself, decisions. And think of it as an electric transformer feature. When you are doing electrical work, the power companies have generators in their main buildings and they run the electricity through what? The wires, and then it goes through transformers and transformers to voltage, directly comes from the power. Say, yeah, all that. I hate this fluff. But now, if the Supreme Being, which is at the top of the tree, were to appear here in full power, it will destroy everything. That's the concept that they get. If God, you see the face of God, you'll explode. Somebody said they seen God's back on the nuns. That's the concept. If the Supreme Being, which is at the top of the tree, appear, he'll destroy everything. Blow everything up. Really? it would also blow your mind. Okay, so therefore it had created the Netheru, who are like transformers, okay, of the energy, got you. But they control certain portions of the energy to carry out certain tasks. And those tasks are what uphold creation. Get it? I got it. And that keep what? Creation afloat, sustain it, so to speak. Now, if you will, that keep creation from falling apart. That's Maya. But it takes more energy to what? Sustain the sun than it takes to make a blade of grass grow. If the energy of the sun were to arrive on earth without restraint, Scooby-Doo, roll, all would burn up. I get you, got you. And the higher divinities have more power and more subtle than the lower divinity gods. Ra passes on energy to the next lower divinities, which is Shu, air, Tufnut, moisture, and Shu and Tufnut pass on their lower energies to the next, which they receive from Ra, and to the next lower divinity, which is Geb, earth, and Nut, heaven, and so on. I gave the generation how that worked. Now behold, the highest main divinity, the artias of the divinities in the what? The Duat, the divinities, which is the Pet, heaven, and now we are coming down to the Ta, which is the physical, earth. And within the Ta realm, you have aspects of divinities that are even more differentiated. This differentiation provides detailed insights into specific functions of specific cosmic forces. So you have many aspects of Haru. I told you everybody's Haru, what? The spirit. That's what Haru is. And all these different aspects of Haru are what? Are like what? Specific descriptions of a particular aspect of the power that's in you. In this manner, an increasingly refined knowledge you acquire of the powers can be attained by you, the aspirant. And since at this level of practice, it is important for you to truly understand what an aspirant is and what it requires, it is appropriate to go more deeply into the nature of who? Haru, that's you, which is your very own true nature. I'm going to end it right there because, see, no, I'm not. I got a little more. I got one more paragraph. I can't stop right now. But first of all, let me tell you this. We want to discuss that the name Haru, that's why I want to get to this. In that Greek, when they changed the name from Haru to Horus, watch this. Haru itself means there is a word in the Kemetic hieroglyphic text, Her, H-E-R, which is a person's face. So the name represents something. It means something. To change the name means you change the meaning. Confusion, okay? Which is the person's face. It means what? Person. It means personality at the highest level. The name Haru is based on this root, her or hara. Also, Haru means, you ready? Face of God. If we're made in God's image and God is our Father, we all share the same face. And this is another definition that is given in the text. Haru means that which is above. And all these terms give you a what? An indication of the meaning of the name Haru. That's why. Changing Asar to Osiris, Aset to Isis, Netet to Nethi, that's all changing what the name really means and the significance behind the name. You can't let them change the name. In general, since it means the personality that exists, and that is all of you who are listening to this or who will read this in the future. Also understand this. The scripture explains that one aspect of Haru Picard, that's Haru the child, that's you before you got enlightened, is the Nefertim, Pa Picard. Also, it means Ra when he was young. His baby Ra, the solar child. Okay? So, the descriptions of the names themselves are giving us insight into the connection of the tree, because if Haru is allowed to grow up, you who does, and he become Ra, what? Of course, that's where you go back to the father. In the Anu theology, Haru manifests as Haru. In the Memphite theology, you have he manifests as Nefertim. And in the Theban theology, he also manifests as Khonsu, the moon god. All of these are aspects of Haru, which is me and you. So you have a whole bunch of aspects of you that you can be in Knowing yourself is mastering each one. That's the lesson. I hope you got it. I'll be back with more. I just got to shut it down. I hope you got the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I got to go. In closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I never know that my right thinkers who start to know who they are have passed away.